Welcome to the Holy Hour. I'm Amelia Sampson.
And I'm Liz Ball. And today we're recording in my bedroom, and it looks like we're filming a weird porno.
So we're on the bed, but the lights set up.
It's because Amelia said this right before we record our intro. It's the hottest day of the year in Seattle, and I have an AC unit in my bedroom. And it has been on full blast all day, and I have a nice, quiet, silent fan that is blowing now.
I'm incredibly impressed by the temperature in this room.
It feels nice.
It does. We have air conditioning at my house, and this room is colder than the rest of my house.
I'm a brat, though. It needs to be freezing.
I have to sleep in cold. Somebody sent me one of those Dyson fans that we were talking about on a previous episode, which is so fucking nice.
Yeah.
This man is he's so nice. I don't want to say his name just in case he doesn't want me to, but he listens to the podcast, and it has saved my ass because my air conditioning is broken in my room. Just my room. So
just your room. Wait.
That's why we drink.
That one also hasn't been repaired?
We don't know what's wrong. Like, the whole top floor of the house is hot because it's the top floor, but my room is like a sauna, and we don't know why. The vent isn't blocked, so I have the Dyson. Thank God. That thing's amazing. I can control it from my phone. Not right now because the Wi-Fi's out at my house because Comcast can't handle the heat.
Your home's having a rough go.
It's having a rough I'm having a rough month. I don't do well in the heat.
It has been a rough month.
Mm-hmm.
I'll agree with you. I've had a lot of weird mishaps. Like, we had a camera mishap. Like, I have like a DSLR from college, and like I bought this fancy like plug-in battery that you plug into the wall, and then I was like set it all up, and the moment came where I turned on my camera and nothing happened, and I was like, God fucking damn it.
That's how it always
goes.
Just
like every week there's a new thing, but
Mercury is no longer in retrograde. Yeah,
we're still in the shadow afterwards, and sometimes I feel like the shadow is worse. The worst Mercury retrograde I ever had is like the first time I like really traveled internationally by myself, and like I just like was losing keys and getting locked out of my hotel room because like my battery was dying. Yeah, I was in Thailand.
What a trip that was.
It was a blast, but also like weird stuff was happening to me, and then my roommate through the trip, I was like, stuff like this does not usually happen to me, and she's like, I don't believe you. I think that you're bad luck.
Oh man. Oh yeah, we had the Murphy's Law conversation, and that was your Murphy's Law trip.
Yeah. Maybe it was just a Mercury retrograde classic trip.
Because much worse things could have happened to you on that trip, and it didn't happen.
My other shitty Mercury retrograde experience was when I was moving. When I moved here.
Oh my God.
And I had the terrible movers.
That was kind of scary.
It was really scary, actually.
What was that guy's name?
Chad.
It was literally would be
Chad.
Fucking Chad.
But I did want to mention to you, we got a ton of like DMs and emails from people about the listener who wrote in about like the guy that she's been seeing who like doesn't want her to reciprocate like any sexual favors or like get him off. And so I asked my boyfriend too. I was like, hey, what do you think? Like, while I was editing, I was like with him, and I was like, hey, what do you think about this? Like, what would you guess? Because we did our speculating, but then we were also like
have no idea.
Yeah. And he was like, I would guess like it would be because like he can only get himself off. Like, that would be his first guess. So it's just like, you don't want to like have your partner like try and get you off when you know they're not going to be able to if you can only get yourself off. And then a ton of other people said like you can dry orgasm, which we knew from Kinky Katie, but that didn't sound like the situation here. Like, no, it doesn't seem like there's anything really physical involved on her end, but I think a lot of people mentioned like could be trauma related. So,
which was one of the things that we said.
Yeah, and then some people also mentioned that like it like just getting her off could be like more than enough for him. Like that's just all he wants to do. Which like have like a pleasure kink or whatever.
Right. It could be really anything.
Yeah.
Going back to what your boyfriend said about only knowing that like he can get himself off would be the potential of what's going on in your experience. How, like, ratio-wise, I don't really know how to ask this. I'll talk from my own experience and then I'll ask you the question. Okay. I can make myself come during sex much quicker when I'm doing like this like clitoral stimulation than if he's doing it. Mm-hmm. Do you experience the same thing?
Yeah.
And that has to be because we masturbate, so we like know what works.
Yeah, you just know like your own way around your body.
And I've hooked up with some guys that like I'll start kind of just like taking charge in that arena, and they seem like a little like
intimidated,
like offended, that like, and it's like not like that at all.
No,
you know. So I don't know. It's just I think that that's something that people don't really talk about often because nobody wants to like embarrass someone. That's a good
point. Well, yeah, because I don't take it personally. It's just like it's hard like to do for like I would imagine it would be hard for your partner to do all of the stimulation, if that makes sense. Yeah. Like
it's a lot of work.
Yeah, vaginally and clitorally, like
in the air.
Yeah, and they can't sense where like something is on you, especially like if it like you're using a vibrator or something on your clit, like you know exactly where it is, and like you need to like move something just a little bit for it to work.
Yeah. Like, yes. It's like a quarter of a centimeter makes a difference.
Yeah, it really does.
And it's like such a joke. It's like men do it fun.
I don't want you to stop what you're doing, and I don't want to like. I'm just gonna take charge because I'm already almost there.
Yeah, right. And then when you start to get in your head about like, oh, this, I know that this isn't gonna work. Oh no, now it's taking a while. It starts to. Then you get in your head, and it's like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to come. It's all a mind game. A lot of how people with vaginas come is all. Not all, a lot of it is mental.
Yeah, you have to like be in a right.
Yeah, you have to be in the right headspace. You can't like get in your head about it.
It sucks how much of it is like self-consciousness. Yeah. Like, oh God, do I look weird, or like, do I have like a stupid orgasm face?
Yes. Oh my God. Or like, if they're going down on you, like, do I smell bad? It's all, you have to be in the right headspace.
You're like, oh fuck, I've been sweating all fucking day.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Okay, I have two things to say. One is a shorter statement. A lot of guys experience that. A lot of people with penises experience that too. A few of the guys that I've hooked up with in the past like 6 months can't stay hard, and they'll be like, it's nothing about you. Like, you're really hot. It's not you. I'm like, I know. Like, I understand. And I understand also like the shame that comes with not being able to stay hard, because sometimes I dry up. And then it's the same kind of experience of like, I am having a good time. It just happens, and so much of it is mental, and that's another thing I think people have a hard time talking about. I think people like feel like they're, you know, like not hot enough, or like not turning the other person on enough, when a lot of it is just like somebody gets in their head and then it's game over from there if they're thinking too hard about it.
Yep, totally been there. And I've hooked up with partners who have been there too. Yeah, I'm like, we can stop. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, don't get too in your head about it. I always say like, nope, let's just hang out, you know, if like the moment arises again, so to speak, then we'll just do it then. But
I like you specifically. Yep. And the sex stuff is just like a perk, you know?
Exactly. We
can revisit. It's not a big deal.
So many people, somebody asked, I got served an ad today about, it was, created by an OBGYN for like it's like a vagina deodorant. Yeah, but it's like not the vagina that smells bad. It's bacteria from the butt.
What?
Yeah. There's some science that the bacteria from your anus makes your vagina smell a type of way. And so this doctor created this deodorant. She has a line for armpit deodorant, and then she has a topical cream for everywhere else, and it helps, and people swear by this shit. I was gonna order some just for science.
What?
Yeah,
interesting.
I know. So that's a fun fact. It's not your vagina that's not yours. I'm looking at you when I say it. Don't worry, it's not your vagina that smells. No, that's apparently vaginas don't have a natural odor. It's from your butthole, says a gyno.
Wash your ass.
So wash your ass, friends. I have a new bae. Every week. Are you ready to move on from that last statement? We have a lot to talk about today.
We do.
Okay, I'll jump into this. It's a short story.
Okay.
I was listening to music the other day, and this song came on my Discover Weekly, and it was this beautiful man's voice, and the song is about coming together, like orgasming at the same time, but it's like disguised. You don't really know what that's about unless you like really listen to it, and it's so fucking good. And his voice is just beautiful. Do you know who Alan Raymond is?
No.
Oh, okay. Anyway, it's like very like deep and like raspy. It's
Baby locked them doors in.
Exactly. Yeah, that's him. You've heard of him. No, so I posted the song on my story and like quoted a part of it, and the singer of the song messaged me back and was like,
wow, wow, baby.
Pretty girl. He was like, that's my favorite line from the song, blah blah blah. He was like, I'm trying to walk the line between like explicit and like art, you know, as we all are. And he followed me back. He only follows like 250 people. I was like, okay, what's up? So I like slid on in, and we were just like chatting, and like he lost his job during COVID, and he like decided to lean into music full time, blah blah blah. I was like, well, if you don't come to Seattle when you tour, I will fully riot. And he was like, well, I will do my due diligence to save the city of Seattle. And I was like, well, I like to be prepared, so here's my number. Not thinking that he would text me at all. He texted me like 2 minutes later. This sounds like Charles Manson, but we've just been chatting.
Deep sigh into the microphone.
We love a sex positive bae. We'll see. He looks just like my ex. I have to show you him.
You're stressing me out.
I know. I'm stressing myself out.
Stressing the audience out.
I'm at a point in my life where like I'm starting to look for danger again.
No. Why?
It's been too simple and normal.
Oh God! Wait.
He looks just like my ex.
Here, give me your phone.
There's his Instagram.
I don't trust it.
You're getting a vibe? He's like just now blowing up.
I'm just anxious.
I have a problem.
Yeah.
I need, if you staged an intervention, I wouldn't be surprised. I come over next time, like all of our friends
I just, and you know, no offense if you are listening to this because you're in love with Amelia, but like I just don't trust the guys that you are talking to that have like large followings.
I know, me neither.
I just like
I have no reason to trust them neither.
I really only trust one.
Oh, the one you met.
Yeah.
He listens, and he would be very happy to hear that.
He's the only one I trust.
He's oh look who's in here. Well, happy to have you, Gramps.
Are we?
Yeah, well, he is.
He's like, help, how did I get in here?
Anyway, we're gonna have to give him a name. I'm gonna call him Turtle. I just came up with that now.
Well, let me let this pain in the ass out of here. Could you stop?
He's like, honestly, that feels kind of nice. He's like, that's why I'm meowing. I wanted to get sprayed. Oh, babe.
Yeah, just let him. He knows.
Anyway, so that's, I just had to throw that name in the ring because we don't know where it's going to go. Maybe I'll fly to California and I have a new bae. It's pretty exciting. I'm still seeing Squints, though. Squints is currently hanging out with my parents while we're recording.
Yeah, I really like him, too.
All my friends do. Mm-hmm. He's a good egg. I met his sister and his sister's girlfriend.
My mom was like, so Amelia is dating a boy she met online? I was like, she's dating a lot of boys she met online.
Yeah, which one? You're going to have to specify.
And she's like, oh, okay, I understand.
Like, oh, right.
And like, this is what dating is. You got to date around.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm, play the field.
Yeah.
I'm really only seeing him, though. I mean, it's like the first time I'm like really only talking to one person. It's weird. But it's not intentional. We're not exclusive. It's just the chips kind of fell that way. You know?
I mean, are you talking to only him? Because
am I? I guess emotionally I'm only talking to him.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
that's your Aquarius moon talking, because for me, I'm like...
Tell me more.
Well, Aquarius moon, it just seems like you're so good at compartmentalizing your feelings. I could never. I can't do it. It's too much. It's too hard.
It's a new thing for me. I feel like I've kind of come into my Aquarius moon then, because before it was like, if I liked somebody, it was like all balls to the wall, I'm going to marry this person, and nobody else. I see nobody else. And now I'm like,
maybe it's just because you're older than 25 now.
Yeah,
that could be it.
I'm grown. I've aged out of my attachment wounds.
Maybe.
Maybe I'm just so damaged.
Just developing new ones.
I just can't attach to anything now. That's sad. I've like made like a full rotation around my attachment wounds. I kind of feel good about that. Yeah. Feels safe. Sometimes I cry.
Yeah, sometimes we all cry. Sometimes I run.
We have to.
Sometimes I hide.
Sometimes I close my eyes.
That's
her queen.
Sometimes I'm
She had a big week.
She did. We don't have time. Sadly, we don't have time.
We don't. No, we have a lot to talk about today. We will circle back to Queen Britney Spears next week. I'm sure more will happen. Her second hearing is July 15th.
Oh, wow.
We have more to talk. You're keeping us on track. Let's dive in.
This is our cheating episode. So
more than one.
We'll probably end up having more than one. Definitely. But I think it's about time we finally cover the topic of cheating. We're like almost 50 episodes in.
Holy shit, we are. This is going to be 46.
Fully divulged. I think it's going to be like 47 or 48.
Wild.
I don't even know now.
What do we have to do for 50? We have to talk about that. But we really should. I've been wanting to talk about cheating. Cheating is one of those topics that I've been afraid to dive into because there is so much to talk about that it's like, when are we ever going to have the time? I'm sure when we talk about this, we're going to get a lot of people writing in with their experiences that maybe don't follow us on Instagram, because that's where we ask the question about people that have experienced cheating. I feel like more people than not, unfortunately, have had an experience with cheating.
Yeah.
Have you been cheated on? I actually don't know.
I don't know if I have been cheated on. Does that make sense? And I'll be able to explain this more later, but like, Shoe Man, I asked him after we broke up if he ever cheated on me because I was constantly suspicious. And he was like, no, you are the only person I haven't cheated on. But I would be stupid to think that were true.
That sounds like something a cheater would say.
Yeah, and he traveled for work a lot, so I would be stupid to think, like, I'm assuming he probably had, like, a one-night stand.
He's probably saying that to his wife, too. You're the only person I haven't cheated on. Fucking hate that guy. I feel like I don't like him more than you don't like him, and that's unhealthy.
It is nice, though.
I understand that.
It's nice that when you have like friends and family who are like, thank fucking God you are not dating this person anymore because I'm ready to murder them for you.
Yeah. It's really good he doesn't live here.
But I think I have collected several cheating stories for us to read, but you have a cheating story.
I have, I mean, we told it last episode, kind of, when I was on the other end of it. I was the mistress. I've been the mistress a few times unknowingly. I would never, ever knowingly be that person because I've been cheated on so many times. But there has been an instance, there was a past episode, early number, that I talked about the guy in a short film that I was in. Yeah, he was cheating on his wife with me and told me that they were in an open relationship. But he said that after we hooked up, he said that they were getting a divorce. And then afterward, he said that they were in an open relationship. That should have showed me everything that I needed to know. That sucks, being cheated on so many times and then being the other woman in a situation. Yeah. I've been cheated on in like 75% of the relationships that I've been in. And that fucked me up for a really long time. Now I'm able to recognize that it doesn't have anything to do with me, even though I'm the common denominator in all of those. Going through therapy showed me that there's not anything that I'm doing other than giving people trust. And a lot of the people that I dated, a lot of the guys were just young and immature. And they were not at a point in their lives where they were ready to commit to one person. And that's okay, but just recognize that. This is my whole thing with cheating. Like, nobody is making you be in a relationship. If you don't want to commit to one person, you don't have to, just don't.
And it's so selfish to like keep them around.
It's 100% to be like,
I still love them and I like mostly want to be with them. If they're not agreeing to not be monogamous, then like that's the only conversation you need to have. Yeah. Like, yeah, they need to be aware and have the choice.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
It's just selfish at that point. If you're like, well, I still love them, so like I do want to be with them, but I also want to be with other people.
Yeah, and you don't want them to hook up with anyone. It's really truly a selfish thing.
Fully.
And now I'm realizing,
and it's stupid to think that like, okay, so if you can have no feelings involved and hook up with other people, they probably can too. Mm-hmm. So it's really stupid and selfish of you to think that like, oh, you want to be non-monogamous, but like you don't want them to be, I don't know, whatever.
It's insanely selfish. I I'm realizing too how I'm combating that. A big thing that was difficult for me to separate myself from my ex was that he put me on such a pedestal that I felt comfortable that he wasn't going to cheat again. And I was like, but like we got there, and like now I don't have to worry about him ever cheating again. Like that was how I was thinking about it. And now I'm starting to seek that out in people that I'm dating. Like I want to be worshipped and like put on a pedestal, even though that makes me very uncomfortable. There's like a subconscious piece of me that's like, I have to be sure that they love me like a toxic amount so that they don't cheat on me. It's all subconscious and it's not something I'm seeking out. But like Squints is a good example. He is so... He's like a golden retriever. I say this like all the time. He's so loyal and like he's like a one gal kind of guy. And there's a piece of me that's like, oh, like that's like a draw, you know? Like I want to keep that around because it feels safe to have that around. And I've had to separate myself from that and look at other things about him that I adore because he's so great, and realize that there are things about him that I like that aren't that, because that was a big thing that I was clinging on to. Like, well, I don't have to worry about him ever cheating on me, which is like all of my old past trauma coming up. And I don't think that when people cheat, they think about the repercussions that it's going to have on the people that they cheat on. That shit sticks with you for so fucking long because you have no reason to believe that they won't. It's hard to, once you get cheated on so many times, it's hard to imagine somebody.
You're just like immediately like, suspect of like any other
you're on the defense
person
all the time. Exactly. And I had to spend a lot of time alone to separate myself from that way of thinking, because really anytime any of my friends got into relationships, when I got out of my relationship in college, like when we were on a break, all my friends that were in relationships, my first thought was like, I mean, he's cheating on you. Like that was like my first thought, and I had no reason to think that outside of me just having
was your experience.
I had no reason to believe that somebody wasn't cheating on somebody. That shit fucking blows. It's the most selfish thing you can do.
Will you go into more detail about like your really terrible ex? Everyone has like the big ex, and I feel like that's probably the one that affected you the most.
Yeah, I mean, like it was kind of like I feel like I like had all of these small experiences that led into the big X, you know, like my first boyfriend ever, he was long distance. Like his dad lived in Washington, his mom lived in Utah. So we were in a relationship.
He was like, I'm Mormon. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, you should not be dating me.
They all have several wives.
Yep, but he was like a bad Mormon. That was like his whole thing. He's like, I'm not Mormon, I'm just, my family is.
I'm not like most Mormons.
I'm not like
I'm
the
a
other
bad Mormon.
I'm a cool Mormon.
I cheat on my girlfriends.
Oh my god. He had a girlfriend. Every time he went back to Utah, he would have a girlfriend. And like I was 14, 15 when we were dating. So that wasn't, I was young, but that was my first experience. So I just always assumed, dating after him, I was like, anytime anybody leaves, I'm assuming that they're cheating on me. And that's disgusting. And then and
those feelings feel so real when you're that age too. Like
it feels like the end of the world.
Yeah, people are like, oh, you're young, it doesn't matter. And I'm like, that is when I felt things the hardest and the most.
Oh my god. Olivia Rodrigo, perfect example. That girl can...
I saw a TikTok of this girl who's like, how embarrassing for that guy's mom. This like 17-year-old girl is writing about your son, you should, like, doing a job you should have done.
Yeah. That's so fucking real.
Like, how embarrassing. Your son's acting like a fucking dumbass, and this girl wrote a whole album about it. Anyways.
Yeah, I know. That's some shame. Shame on your family.
Shame on your family name. Shame on your family.
How did I get there? Oh, so, okay, after that, I was dating a guy in college. He was like the first guy that I was like seeing in college, and I didn't want to be exclusive with him, and he like really wanted to be exclusive. So I was like, okay, I guess we're exclusive. But I never called him my boyfriend. I just like wasn't hooking up with other people. So yes, he wanted to be exclusive real bad, and I was like, okay, fine, I guess. So I wasn't hooking up with anyone else, and we had mutual friends. He didn't go to my school, but he was up every single weekend.
This is when you were in college?
Yep. It was, my freshman year.
What school was he at?
He was not in school. He took 2 years gap year. So we had mutual friends, which is how I met him. And I was talking to our friend, and I mentioned something about how him and I are exclusive, and our friend was like, does he know that? And I was, I was like, it was his idea. What do you mean? And he's like, every time he comes up, he's like, he's my dude, but I feel like you should know, because they were my friend too. He was like, every time he's up here, he's bragging about hooking up with another girl, like different girls all the time. And I confronted him about it, and he admitted everything. He wasn't like, no, he was like, yeah. He just like folded quick. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Part of me is like, what if he was lying to like seem like a player to his friends?
Oh, and then he was back to
and
lie.
It was more like he had so much pride, he didn't want his friends to find out he was fucking lying about hooking up with all these girls. He was like, yep, I'm ready to lose this relationship for this lie. For the boys. The boys told you. The boys
the boys are like, we're selling this fucking asshole out. Are you kidding? His other friend,
I'm happy his friends told you.
Me too. Yeah. The friend that told me is such a good dude. He has a wife now. They're all happy. So one of his other friends had a crush on me, and this guy, what do I call him? The waiter. We're going to call him the waiter. The waiter, not just waiter.
Sounds like a fancy play.
The waiter.
A sad play.
He was a waiter at like a really fancy restaurant.
The fancy waiter.
He's the fancy waiter. Okay. So the fancy waiter. I'm not going to be able to say his name without laughing.
I like it. The fancy
waiter. His friend, who was also a mutual friend, liked me. And the fancy waiter showed me this conversation between the two of them where he was like, yeah, bro, like, if you like her, like, I'm not going to lose our friendship over some chick. He showed me this conversation. And my dumb 18-year-old ass wasn't like, don't call me some chick. What the fuck is that? And I was very offended. I was like, okay, well, I'm glad that you guys aren't losing your friendship over me. Amelia. I'm just some chick. And I got it tattooed on my lower back.
Some chick.
I don't have a some chick tramp stamp. Just want to make that clear. But yeah, so that was, and then right after that, I started dating the big X. And he pulled the whole, like, I need a break, but we're not going to hook up with other people. And then he was hooking up with other people, found out 2 years later through other people. My roommates knew 3 months before I knew, and they didn't tell me. It was a fucking mess.
If the boys can tell you, surely your roommates can tell you.
They didn't tell me until we broke up the weekend after Halloween senior year. And I was crying.
God,
and I was
Halloween dredges up some fucking ghosts.
And this is probably why I hate Halloween so much.
Probably. That makes a lot of sense.
Me as a child,
I'm sorry I forced you to dress up and celebrate me.
Redefined Halloween for me, and I'm forever grateful.
That is the best compliment I've ever received.
I mean it.
That means a lot to me.
It means a lot to me too. That weekend has been
changed Halloween for Amelia Sampson. I want that to be the way the world remembers me.
Halloween has been a point of contention in my life for forever.
No, I mean, that makes sense.
And you changed it.
Good.
So, the weekend after, I was crying, and I was like, I just want to be mad, because it's so much easier to be mad than sad. And my roommates all were like, well, we're going to let you cry. And I guess they, like, left the room in disgust.
Also gonna, like, make sure why you're mad. Give you a good reason to be mad.
Yeah, how are we going to break this to you? I ended up I had such a big panic attack, I blacked out and ended up down the road. And they almost called the cops because they couldn't find me. I didn't know where I was. I just, like, kind of like came to, and I was like,
oh my God.
Anyway, so I have not had very many great relationship experiences. More often than not, I have been in a relationship that has ended in infidelity.
Yeah.
So,
wait, how did you confront your ex?
He came over, so I found out about one of the girls, and I texted him, and I was like, you've gotta... And so he was on his way over, and then my roommates told me about the other one. And
you're like, well, she already knows about one.
So they didn't know that I knew about one. So, yeah. So they were like, I said, I want to be mad instead of sad. As I said that, I was getting another text from someone like, you should text this person and ask about him, your boyfriend, and her. And I was like, I don't know her. You tell me. And she told me that they had fucked at a party.
Oh, my God.
So then I got...
a party? God damn it.
the two of them that I know about, I mean, there's probably more than two, but the two that I know about were at a party. So, he used to have a lot of parties at his house in college.
It's kind of dirty.
Yep. Well,
I have a fantasy, but it's still dirty.
Yeah. It's like his house, the house that they would party in.
Any college boy's house, I don't need to hear about it.
You know exactly what it looks like.
Yup.
That place was fucking gross. So
I know what it smells like. I know what it looks like. Mm-hmm. I don't need any more details.
It's like, oh my God. Yeah, and they had a dude living in the basement. Yeah. And the basement wasn't finished. Ooh. Yeah. It was just a very strange place. And he would have sex with random girls in his house. So I found out that he had been kissing random girls, too, from my roommates. They didn't know about the sex, but they heard that he had been kissing other girls. So
I saw mommy kissing Santa Claus.
Liz,
we just exchanged kisses. It's just like...
It's just how people greet in Europe. You wouldn't understand. You're not sophisticated.
We just, touched tongues intimately and gazed into each other's eyes. It was not a big deal.
You know what? If you're upset about that, that's on you.
He's just kissing girls. It's just a friendly way to greet a stranger.
Yeah, just kissing on the mouth. Do you not do that to guys at parties? You're allowed to. Oh my God, I really can't. So no, I confronted him about it because he was on his way over. So I found out about this shit in stages. I found out about the girl that he fucked, then the girls that he was kissing. He came over and we had 2 stairs outside of the door. And he rang the doorbell. I opened the door and pushed him down the stairs. He caught himself. And I
God damn it, he deserves a concussion.
Yes, he does. That would have been his 6th.
The 6th concussion? Mm-hmm. Is he like a cat? He only has 9. He's only allowed to have 9.
He had to stop playing contact sports.
Better watch out, buddy. I'll give you your last 4 concussions.
Just bonk every time he heals. Bonk.
Bonk. Mess with the honk, you get the bonk.
Oh my God. I can always count on you.
I will physically and violently harm your exes.
I mean, same with your exes and me.
For legal purposes, though, I won't actually do that.
She will. So I ended up yelling at him for 2 hours outside of my house. My roommates were all standing inside the garage. I didn't know listening.
I would totally do that.
Yeah, I would too. So then we were broken up.
I would live tweet it.
And yeah, you would, and I would hope that you would. At this phase of my life, if anybody ever cheats on me, you have permission to live tweet or break up.
Okay.
Period.
All right.
I'm never gonna date somebody that cheats on me again, though.
I have it on film, so
I know. Well, this is basically a contract.
Okay.
Cool. So we broke up, and then we went on Christmas break, and 3 weeks later. And he told me about another girl that he fucked. He called me, and he was like, I have to tell you, I have to get this off my chest.
Wait, so you were together or no?
No, we had broken up at that point. But he was trying to, win me back. He was, driving all the way from Bellingham. He stayed in Bellingham for winter break. He drove from Bellingham back to where I was living to, drop off, he made me, a mixtape and shit to apologize. And I was just like, get the fuck out of my life. And he was like, well, since you already hate me, I gotta tell you about this, too.
You should have made a mixtape that was only one song. And it was like, it's too late to apologize.
Or that, fuck you. Fuck you very, very. Who is that? Lily. Oh, that's a great.
With an A or something?
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about.
Anyway, all that to say, and this is again why I didn't want to talk about this for so long, because it was I feel like I could take up a whole episode with my cheating experiences. But I have a lot of experience with cheating. I am a barbarian when it comes to my friends getting cheated on now, because I know how much it hurts. There's literally no excuse for cheating. Even if it's an unhealthy relationship and you're fighting all the time, break up.
Yep.
Don't fucking cheat. And I know that it's hard to break up. It is worse to try to... I saw my ex... I mean, I feel a type of way about him now, but I saw him try to become a better person to climb his way out of that and do a lot of work, because the shame that comes with cheating is exhausting. Regardless, our relationship was really shitty when he cheated on me. It was very toxic, not great. And still, he was like, you didn't deserve that.
What was toxic about it?
These are all really good questions. We were just always, I was like really obsessed with him. Like, he was my first love. He was like my first like everything, really. And he was trying to pull away and be independent and have like a single, because we started dating freshman year, so he was never really single in college. And he was he had a lot of pressure from his friends to experience being single. I didn't have that from my friends were like, if you're happy, then I'm fucking be with him. But he was getting a lot of pressure to be single. So, and he didn't want to lose me. So he was trying to do both of those things. He wouldn't bring me around his friends ever. So I was always freaking the fuck out about what he was doing.
What are you doing? What are these?
And I had been cheated on so much in the past that I was like, you don't bring me around your friends, you're fucking a friend. So every time he had a pretty girlfriend, I was like, you're fucking. Like 100%. And he maybe he was. But there was a lot of that like mistrust out of the gate. And we were just constantly fighting because he was pulling away, which was making me push him more. And so it was toxic and unhealthy. And it was a young relationship. And I was able to forgive him, never forgot it, but I was able to forgive him eventually because he worked really hard to get out of that. But then that swung to the other side of the pendulum of me being like way too chill in the relationship because it's like he loved me enough for the both of us. Like he didn't really need me to give him any affection because he was trying so hard. So it was, the cheating really was our demise 4 years down the line.
Yeah.
And that's like what I'm trying to get at with this whole thing is like a momentary slip up will be your demise, really, because like I've met couples that have been married for 40 years and still talking about, oh yeah, he like had sex with so and so 30 years ago. Nobody forgets it.
Oh, a momentary slip up, you mean like cheating wise?
Yeah, cheating wise, that sticks with you. It's like glitter.
And yeah, I mean, you have to be fully aware of like the future consequences that is going to have if you choose to stay together. We should read a little story.
Yeah.
Or two.
Yes. How many did we get? How many did you copy?
So many. We got so many. I tried to like get the ones I thought were like maybe the most like funny.
I kept getting notifications and I was like, oh, Liz posted a question.
I also was like asking people some follow-up questions.
Oh, wow.
Will you read this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you want me to read it?
Yeah. So we're going to read a little listener write-in.
It says, so Liz, you want to say the question that you asked?
Yeah, so I asked on our Instagram and my personal Instagram if anyone had any cheating stories, like of being cheated on or being the one who chose to cheat or the other person involved, just anything around it. So we got a lot. Some interesting DMs from y'all. This one made me laugh.
I haven't read any of these. So it says, ooh girl, not me, but my friend found her ugly, no job having fiance talking to women on Tinder. Oh no. He has no game, but managed to tell one, my mother would love you. They're still together and are getting married in September? Shut the fuck up. Yep. Okay, I can't imagine anything worse than being cheated on and the person ending up with the person they cheated on you with. That blows.
I interpreted it. No, this couple is still together. She got her fiance on Tinder.
I thought that the fiance ended up with the Tinder girl.
Sounds like multiple.
No, you're right. They're still together. Oh, he's not gonna stop.
Yeah.
He's not gonna stop.
No, he showed you who he was up front and he was like, can I do this? And then you were like, yep.
There is so much climbing out of that hole that he has to do.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, she still agreed to marry him. So.
What the fuck?
There's still time to There's still time to cancel the wedding.
There is.
There's still time.
Cancel the
There's time to cancel the wedding up until the day of the wedding. It doesn't matter.
Amen.
If people are like, but I flew all the way out here. It's like, okay, well, that
sucks. You're here for me.
You get a little vacation.
Yeah.
You know?
So sorry.
But at the end of the day, just not getting married is worth not having a divorce in the future, in my opinion.
If somebody cheated on me, I would probably just, I don't mean this, but it would feel really good to, like, leave them at the altar.
I mean,
weddings are expensive, but it'd be so worth it for the bit.
It was a bit, Your Honor. Honestly, it would be.
Yeah.
I would
side
fully support you.
Like, it was worth
making that decision.
Hell yeah.
If you just showing up, if they're like, does anyone object? And then you fucking object, and then you're like, I knew you were cheating on me. Oh, that would be amazing.
God.
I would
give
watch
everyone on my side
like
a little glass of red wine, and then I just have everyone throw it on him.
On him.
Yeah, stay in the suit, bitch. You aren't getting married in this with anyone else.
Make him wear a white suit. Just be like, I want us to both be wearing white. I'll wear white. And then they just fucking
now I'm like,
him.
You know.
What if you also were like, you knew you were going to do that, but then you also were like, since I already know I'm going to do this, I'm going to wear the ugliest fucking wedding dress.
With, like, puffy sleeves, like an 80s wedding dress.
And then just be like, you're going to love it, babe. It's my favorite one.
It's so sexy.
I look like a goddess. It's just like the ugliest dress. I would be in the front row crying.
Oh my god, if anybody is with someone that they know is cheating on them and you're about to get married, feel free to steal this bit.
Well, and this person who was telling us about her friend, if you're at the wedding, you should fully object. But I do have to say, if you object, they're not allowed to get married.
Oh, yeah.
They're, like, not
allowed
actually
to finish. Is lawfully?
I think so. If anyone objects, you're, like, not allowed to continue.
Fuck yeah, the power of being a wedding guest.
Does anyone object?
Yeah. I'd just be like,
oh, Jesus.
Let's see what fucking happens. I object. No reason. I just want to see what happens. Good luck.
I want to read another little funny one.
How many pages do you have here?
A couple of them are long. So,
I see.
So this one is short too. It says, I was once at a wedding with my ex, his sister's wedding, and while he was looking at his phone, I glanced over and noticed he was looking at Craigslist casual encounters. I wish I could say that was the end of our relationship for me, but it took a lot more bullshittery before my dumbass moved the fuck on.
I can totally understand that, though, because my ass, pre-being cheated on ass would be like, oh, he probably just thinks that they're funny. That's why he's on Misconnections.
And not even
casual encounters.
Casual
it's even
encounters.
Worse. That's like actual, like...
I don't think they have those anymore.
Casual encounters?
Yeah.
I think that people were using them for, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh my god, not a prostitute.
Like
escort. People were using
it for escorts.
People were using it for escorts for a while, and I think that there was an issue with the law with that, and that's probably why they got rid of them. Casual encounters and misconnections are kind of fun to read.
I loved reading the misconnections.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
Someone wrote one about my brother.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. He ended up going on a date with her, too, and she was just, like, strange. But, yeah, it's hilarious to read. Mm-hmm. Casual encounters, a little different. If my boyfriend was looking at casual encounters...
You're like, what the fuck is this? I mean, it sounds like he was up to no good.
Yeah, I mean, they clearly broke up. Bullshittery. I love that.
I love bullshittery. Bullshittery.
So good.
Someone recommended that we start a little, like,
I saw that!
Yeah, we should call it the Holy Bible, but it's just, like, our terminology.
And all of the players.
Yeah.
I love that idea.
So we can add bullshitteries
oh my god.
the Holy Bible.
Wait, I'm going to start this tomorrow. I love this idea.
Bullshittery is going in the Holy Bible. So one response that I got, I didn't catch someone cheating, but I had a random girl add me on Facebook and slide into my DMs to tell me that my man was. She provided screenshot evidence, and get this, I was out of the country on a girls' trip. And then I asked her, I followed up with more questions because you know me.
Yeah.
I said, how did you confront him? And then she said, I called his ass from Germany and asked him if the name Jane Doe, obviously not her real name, that's so funny, rang a bell. He casually said no. Why? Should it?
What a piece of shit.
I know. And then I laid it all out on the table. That that this gal reached out to me saying that he hooked up with her friend. He ultimately confessed after I sent the screenshots, but not after I had the chick remove his name from her contacts to cross-reference the phone number to prove it was actually his number. And it turns out they were all coworkers, and he made several advances towards all the young pretty girls, despite also people knowing that I existed as his girlfriend. He started crying that he was sorry and blah, 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 that it didn't mean anything, he was weak, and asked if he should have his bags packed by the time I returned.
Yeah.
I said no.
Oh, no.
I still needed a ride home from the airport, duh. I broke up with him a few months later and kept both the apartment and the dog.
Hell yeah.
Two important things. But then I was like, just out of curiosity, did you decide to stay with him a little longer to try and make it work? How did he act after you got home? That would destroy me.
Yeah.
And then she said, oh, it certainly destroyed me too, because then I was playing the where did I go wrong and what's wrong with me? Why am I not enough game with myself? I think initially when I got back, I was mostly in shock. So really I was in denial that I missed the signs. And then it turned into mostly wanting to stick around for answers. He spent a lot of time apologizing and trying to make it up to me, which I dismissed, and then finally things fell stagnant. He thought things were good and fine, and I woke up one day to be like, where is this relationship going? And I ended things because I knew I deserved better, and he left. Caused a whole scene before he did it, but needed to be done. He was only holding me back. It's just like...
Yeah.
We did get quite a few handful of stories that were like, and I still fucking stayed with him for another few months.
It's a comfort thing.
Yeah, because I totally get that. Where
Me
you're
too.
like, okay, I need some answers before I'm at that point, somewhere in the back of your mind, it's done. It's over. Mm-hmm. You don't know when it'll be over, but you need to get the rest of your investment out of this relationship and get some fucking answers. And then when you leave, they'll be surprised. But in your head, you've already made the decision.
Yeah.
That's just what I could assume.
Yeah. Well, it's like... It took me therapy to realize that breaking up is the easy thing to do. Because, really, it feels like let's just stay together and make it work. But in the long run, that's a lot more work.
Oh, yeah.
Than trying to...
It's a big decision to make it work. From it.
Yeah. And it really is, the momentary discomfort of ending a relationship is so much easier than the discomfort of trying to make it work to gain back trust. And I think that it's important for people to realize, I think what a lot of people fall into, which is what I experienced, is that it must be something about me and not about the other person. And everybody that I've talked to that has cheated on somebody says that it's never ever about the person that they cheated on. It is always in a thing within themselves. And I didn't believe that until I started really working through this in therapy. Because it's so easy to be like, well, it's something that I'm falling short on.
Yeah, I'm not enough.
Yeah, and then you fall into that and you start trying to fix yourself, and it's like, there's nothing to fix. You're fine. You're yourself. And, oh, we've been fighting a lot, and I could be better. And it's like, no. Couples fight, and then they don't always cheat.
Yeah.
So it's...
Fighting is normal.
Yeah, right.
You're going to have some fights.
And, it really, at the end of the day, when you're able to get away from the idea that it's a shortcoming of yours is when the actual good work starts getting done of fixing a relation. If you do want to work at it, which is not for the faint of heart, but if you do want to work at it and push past it, getting out of your own head about it and recognizing that it's something about the other person, something about the you as a unit is wrong. The work starts to get a little bit easier because you fixing yourself and trying to make yourself everything that this person wants you to be is not the answer. You shouldn't have to be anything other than who you are. Yeah. If you need to be something other than who you are to be with this person, you shouldn't want to be with this person. Period. I've thought about this a lot. This is my entire...
That's on therapy.
This is my entire adult life leading up to this moment.
I love that. I like when you read because I have a moment to drink.
Yes, love that.
Sip my drink.
Love that. Enjoy yourself. Lean back, relax.
I'm fully man-spreading right now. My boyfriend So first I'll say Amelia's friend calls my boyfriend Mr. Liz, which is now my favorite name. But Mr. Liz...
Magic Man that calls him Mr. Liz. He has a nickname on the show.
Magic Man?
You named him Magic Man.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know that was him.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Magic Man calls my boyfriend Mr. Liz. So that's how he will be referred to from now on out.
Mr. Liz. I like that better than my boyfriend, Mr. Liz.
Me too. I like Mr. Liz better too.
Adopted that.
So Mr. Liz has this habit of, like, when I'm man-spreading, he takes a picture of it. And it happens a lot. And I had no idea.
We were at brunch.
And I love that for me.
We were at brunch. No, it was my birthday. It was my birthday night. Mm-hmm. Mr. Liz was sitting next to me, and he was just like, oh, check this out. It's like just a picture of Liz on his phone, and she was just like in the back of a car, not on the seat at all, but kind of sitting. You were like leaning like on, like your elbows were where your butt goes in the car, and your legs were fully spread out.
In a car?
Mm-hmm. It was in the backseat of a car. And I was like, what is she doing? And he's like, she man spreads a lot. And it was so out of context, it was hilarious. We weren't talking about it.
I'm going to post a picture of me man spreading so people know.
He'll know the one that he showed me. It was the back of a car. Ask him for that one. It was a good one.
He probably has an album.
Oh, 100%.
Knowing him.
It's like he almost, he had it at the ready. It was like he had a shortcut in his phone.
Oh, yeah.
He was like...
He probably does.
Hey ladies, it's me again, your BFF with the married boyfriend who lives halfway across the country. Anyway, y'all asked for cheating cheater stories, and I imagine the I cheated stories are not super popular. It took me a little while to admit that I cheated, and to this day, my ex still does not know the full extent to which I did, but here we go. From late 2013 to early 2015, I was off and on again with a guy we'll call Toothbrush. Toothbrush was an emotionally abusive asshole that I was convinced I could change and make love me. We've all been there. You can't change anyone.
Nope.
He only ever wanted me for sex, and I felt I, quote, knew him too well, unquote, to actually be with him. What in the actual fuck does that mean? My underdeveloped prefrontal cortex led me to continue in the cycle of abuse for years, having my heart broken over and over. In February 2015, I finally broke things off and started adventuring through the world of Tinder, where I came across a guy with a funny name I'd never seen before. I remember starting to swipe left on him, but dragging my finger back slowly to see his picture, then swiping right. I do that so much. His profile said something like, I have pizza, so I messaged him, where's the pizza? And we went from there. We'll call him Pizza in this story. Good nickname. Mm-hmm. Pizza and I text... Yeah, we like that. Pizza and Toothbrush. I need to take some notes from you on how to name these guys. Fancy waiter.
Yeah,
the worst
I
name.
just have something about shoes and feet, whatever.
And
I like Fancy Waiter.
Fancy Waiter's a good name. It's a good name. Okay. Pizza and I texted for a few months before finally meeting in person, and he was totally cool with it. We matched in March, met in early June, and were officially together by August. Our anniversary was the same as my parents', so it felt pretty perfect. Our anniversary was also Toothbrush's fucking birthday. Go figure.
He must be a Virgo. Do not fuck with that. It's neither here nor there.
But moving on. During the summer that Pizza and I were dating, Toothbrush weaseled his way back into my life. As they do. I'm going to sing my little side comments so you can differentiate between what she's saying and what I'm saying. One muggy July night, Toothbrush called me and I answered. I don't know why I answered, but my stupid heart told me to. You have to listen to your gut. I hate this, but it feels right. I sat on my side porch at 2 a.m. to the cicadas and swatting away mosquitoes as he went on and on about this girl who just broke up with him before eventually asking if I was talking to anyone. I hate guys.
Cheating, the musical.
Wow, that's going to be the name of this episode, Cheating the Musical. I told him briefly about pizza, and he started his narcissistic bullshit of asking how he was compared to him, etc. Fuck all the way off.
I take it back. He must be a Leo.
After that phone call, we texted off and on, but nothing remarkable. Pizza knew vaguely about Toothbrush, but I didn't tell him that he was back in contact with me. In February 2016, guilt overcame me, and I told Pizza that I'd been texting Toothbrush. I didn't give him details, but I did tell him that I stopped, which was true at the time. We almost broke up. No. He almost broke up with me, but graciously gave me another chance. Then May rolled around. I was graduating from college, and for whatever reason, I got stupidly upset that pizza wasn't, quote, dressing up, unquote, for my ceremony. Looking back, I don't know why I gave a fuck, but it bothered me a lot that day. It's usually the result. This is Amelia now. That's usually the result of, like, a whole bunch of shit. You know, if you get mad about petty stuff like that, there's more happening beneath the surface.
It's true.
One of the thoughts that came to mind was, well, Toothbrush would have dressed up. Why? I checked up on his Tumblr that day and replied to one of his posts saying that I was thinking about him. We started texting shortly after that and fell back into our usual bullshit. But this time, I decided we could actually meet up in person. I lied to Pizza and said that I was hanging out with a college friend, but in reality, I was having lunch with Toothbrush where I drank one too many pomegranate martinis. We went back to my apartment and things got slutty. I bent over to turn on the AC unit. Oh God, what's that like? I bent over to turn on the AC unit and he slid a hand up my dress. Then we were sitting on the couch and he was admiring my new thigh tattoo with his hands as they wandered. Then we ended up in my bedroom. We didn't have sex. I don't even think we kissed. But there were hands and mouths in places they shouldn't be when you're with someone else. Yeah. A few weeks after that, I liked one of Toothbrush's pictures on Instagram. This was the time when you could still see an activity page with what your friends liked and commented on. That was some shit. Amelia again. That was some shady fucking shit on Instagram's part.
I think I'm the only person who never gave a fuck about that.
Ooh, I was on that. Like, right on.
I never cared.
Whenever anybody was ignoring me, I would refresh that and see if they were on Instagram.
Like, who are you liking? Why aren't you texting me back?
Okay, going back to the story. Pizza saw that I liked Toothbrush's picture and decided that was it. He correctly suspected that I was talking to him again, and he ended our relationship. I fought him on it for weeks, begging for his forgiveness and for another chance, but he eventually cut me off entirely. My heart was shattered, but I did it to myself. Did I really think I could fuck around and keep my committed boyfriend who deserved none of this? Pizza never ever deserved the pain that I caused him, and it still hurts to know that I did that to him. All he did was love me, and I let an emotional abusive douchebag convince me otherwise. Toothbrush and I reconnected a couple of times after my relationship ended, but now it's been almost a year since I've spoken to him at all. Pizza and I reconnected last winter, and there were glimmers of hope of us getting back together, but it ultimately did not happen. He hinted at wanting to know the full truth of what went on with Toothbrush, but I told him that knowing only would hurt him and would do nothing beneficial for him. I've heard it said that people don't tell their partner they cheated for the benefit of their partner. They do it to relieve themselves of guilt. Yes, it's like admitting to murder. That was Amelia. But all it does is hurt the partner, so sometimes I wonder if it's better to never know. Well, actually, it's better to never fucking cheat. Wow, this is really echoing what we were just saying. So, I'm a cheater. My dumb 21 to 22-year-old brain assisted in my shitty decision-making. I was left to deal with the consequences, and Pizza was the victim. I haven't been in an official relationship since, and that ended in 2016. My relationship with the married guy is the realest thing I've had since then. I can only wonder if there is a reason that after having cheated, I'm now the other woman in a relationship. I understand that karma. This is Amelia. I understand that karma feeling, but it's not. That's not real. I mean, karma's real, but anyway.
So the story is very similar to an experience I have, and I've never told this story. Right as we're recording, I haven't told a lot of people this story. It's like, I feel like you and my therapist know.
How do you feel about that?
I haven't...
telling it.
How do I feel about telling it? I knew I wanted to talk about this eventually, no matter what.
That's good.
I haven't told my boyfriend. I haven't told Mr. Liz yet, but I am going to tell him before this comes out. But this is why I have a lot of harbored resentment towards Shoeman. And maybe this will be the only time I ever tell this story again. So we have a lot of history. I knew him for, we dated when we were in high school and then into college, and then broke up, didn't talk for a long time, and then our paths crossed again. And it was 10 years later that we were oh yeah, let's talk again, whatever. This was probably our third time dating. And we had a terrible breakup. I moved out here. He was supposed to move out here with me, and instead he just broke up with me. And I'm really fucking thankful for that. every day. But after we broke up, I like met someone else, like, because I just was like, I was excited and I wanted to move on, but also I was still heartbroken and didn't know how to be alone. It was a mixture of those two things. I was like excited to date other people in a new city, and then I also was just like, I do not know how to be alone with myself, and this is like such a pivotal time in your life when you're like fucking 26 in a brand new city. Like, you thought you were gonna marry someone and then they break up with you, and you're like
jolting.
Yeah, there's a lot going on emotionally. So I met someone else and I was dating him, and this is the guy I forget that I dated. And he's like
so unproblematic.
I know.
So just normal.
I don't know what to call him. The lawyer.
The lawyer.
He's a lawyer, so we'll call him that. And yeah, so I was dating this guy who's the lawyer, and like a few months go by, and I can just tell, like, my ex is dating someone else. And
how?
Gut? No, I'm still friends with some of his friends. And they were, like, posting pictures at group things, and, like, she was, like, appearing more, and I saw some shit on Venmo, not, like, with him, but, like, his friends were, like, Venmoing her for stuff, and I was like, all right, is he dating this girl? And I previously did not think, like, oh, he's dating this woman, because she was going through a divorce from a woman.
That's right.
And she, like, posted a lot of stuff about, like, being a lesbian, which I also think, like, you don't know until you know.
Yeah.
Like, right, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, people...
It's all on a spectrum.
Exactly. Like, you meet someone that you wouldn't think that you would date, and then you do. Mm-hmm. So that's also why I just didn't suspect that they would be dating, because she was, like, going through a divorce from a woman, and I was like, oh, she doesn't even like men. But he is very feminine looking, so it's not fully surprising. It's just the suspicions, whatever. And then I was just like, I can't remember why we started having a conversation or how that started happening, but I wanted some, like, form of closure. I never got any form of closure at all. Mm-hmm. Like, I was going through therapy and I was focusing on myself. I did not want to be with him again. Like, in my gut, I knew that wasn't right, and I didn't want to be with him again, but I wanted to have a conversation. Like, I wanted to, like, reflect. I wanted to have a retrospective on, like, how much our relationship fucking sucked, and not feel like I was crazy.
Yeah.
And I probably initiated, like, our first contact to, like, try and have, like, some form of, like, normal conversation of, like, okay, we're both dating other people, like, can we just, like, talk about this fucking relationship? And then it morphed very quickly into him sexting me, and, like, it sounds like I'm, like, removing myself from this, and I promise I'm not. He started to make the conversation sexual, and at that point I knew, I was like, okay, I can either like, not participate, or I can have some control. And that I decided that I wanted some control. So I engaged in having this, like, sexting conversation with him, and we exchanged, like, nudes and stuff, and it was very sexual. And then the next day I was like, I don't feel good about this. And I was like, I regret doing that. Like, I just wanted to have a conversation with you. Also, in the back of my mind, like, I'd be lying if I didn't say, like, I knew that I could get him to, like, send me nudes and say sexual things to me and have some sort of, like, leverage in general and feel like I had some control.
Yeah, it's a power thing at that point. Yeah, when you felt so powerless for so long.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, if this is how I have to get you to talk to me, and I have some sort of power in this situation, it levels the playing field, is how it feels.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I did not feel good about it, though. Like, I'm dating this completely innocent person who is very, like, unproblematic, like you said. I don't think, like, my heart was ever fully in it. I think it
was a rebound for sure.
Yeah, I had a crush on him, but I just was not really, like, fully invested. And also, I needed to be alone. Mm-hmm. I needed to be alone with myself as an adult. That was something I had never experienced until that point. And I don't know, he was also like, I don't feel good either. I know if we were in person, like, I would do things I regret or something like that. And then I know if we were in person, I would not have done anything. Mm-hmm. Like, I just know that about myself. Like, I don't cross that line, but still, emotionally and sexually, I crossed a line that, like, if someone did that to me, I would consider it cheating. Yeah. We never met up in person or anything. So
you can cut this out if you don't want to say it, but he was texting you things like, don't wear a skirt around me.
Oh, yeah.
Like, really fucked up shit.
So after that, yeah, I was like, I was still continuing to try to just have a normal conversation. Mm-hmm. Like, I want to talk to you about, like, our relationship ending. I want to have some kind of closure. And then no matter what I said, like, if he texted me or I texted him first, it was all, he would try and make the conversation sexual no matter what. There was one weekend he was out of town and he was texting me, like, out of town from where he lives, like, in a different city. And he's like, oh, I'm going to a shoe convention. And I was like, is that where everyone is a shoe? And he was like, are you calling me a shoe? And then I said, that's a good question. If you were a shoe, what kind would you be? And he was like, well, I'll let you decide. And I said something like a Chelsea boot. I don't know. And I explained why. And then I was like, what kind of shoe would I be? And then he said, like, a stiletto, because I know you like at least 6 inches, and, like, made a conversation about shoes really sexual. And then I was like, I can't remember what I said, but I, like, made it non-sexual. And then I was like, that would hurt my feet or something.
Yeah,
or I was like, someone who loves foot fetishes would love this, or, like, something, like, corny and, like, stupid. And then every conversation I tried to have with him, he just made it sexual, and I was just, like, enraged.
Yeah.
And I also felt guilty. So I broke up with my boyfriend, the lawyer, like, shortly after, because I was like, okay, he did not deserve this.
Yeah.
And clearly I'm not ready to be in a relationship, because this is not, like, something that I'm proud of or I would normally do.
That's big of you to recognize that.
I did not tell him, though. I never told him, and I chose not to tell him because he had previously dated a woman that it seemed like they were really in love, but she cheated on him, and he was very, like, damaged from that. And I knew that, like, me cheating had via text, who gives a shit? Like, it doesn't matter if it was physical or not. Like, me cheating had nothing to do with him, and I didn't want to make it worse. I didn't want him to have more of, like, a fear that he was going to be cheated on. I just didn't want to, like, be another thing that he was, like, insecure about, because he did not deserve that, because, like you said, it was not about him at all. Like, he's an amazing guy. He's handsome. He is smart. He has everything going for him. I just was not ready to be in a relationship, and, like, he did not deserve to be, like, fucked over or feel bad about himself or anything. Like, I just don't know. I didn't want him to, like, have any repercussions from knowing that. Yeah. And that's why I made that decision. And my therapist was also like, you're taking away his choice. So I'm aware of that too. But, like, I do have to say I'm still happy with the decision I made. That's because good. I don't know. I just think that he, like, deserves someone who loves him and will, like, be present with him and not be distracted or need to, like, change and grow. And I don't know.
I think if there was a physical component in person, you probably would have told him.
Yeah.
I think that it was the nature of the cheating that made it so that it was, like, it would harm him more to know.
Yeah,
Because
I definitely felt like it would have hurt him more if he knew.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's his decision to make, and I did not give him the opportunity to decide that. I made the decision for him, which also isn't fair, but like I said, like, I don't regret the decision I made because
you put a lot of thought into it.
I did. I talked to my therapist a lot about what I thought I should do, and then afterwards, like, I just was enraged that, like, everything he gave me was a non-answer. And I remember specifically being like, I just feel like you, like, owe me an apology or something.
Yeah.
And then he was like, you're right, but I don't deserve to be forgiven, which is just a fucking excuse to be like,
a dick bag.
or I don't feel like I deserve your forgiveness. And it's just an excuse to not, like, have a conversation and not admit, like, how you hurt me. And at that point, like, now I would love to still have a conversation. No, I don't want to fucking talk to this idiot. But it just, I was so enraged. And then I, like, I had gone back to Vegas with one of our friends for, like, a weekend, like, a long weekend. And I knew I was going to be triggered that weekend. And I, like, got hammered in, like, the bars we used to go to, and I, like, ran into one of his friends, and I told him, I was like, he cheated on this girl with me. And he was like, oh fuck. And then I was like, did he cheat on me? And he's like, not that I know of. And then I, like, was blacked out, and I, like, sent her a message on Instagram.
You were blacked out when you sent that?
Originally.
Oh,
well, so here's what happened. I, like, was blacked out, and I sent her a message, like, I was like, he cheated on you and whatever. Like, it was just a long rambling message, and then I was able to unsend it.
Oh, good. Like, right away?
I figured it out, like, a couple hours later, because I was with our friend, and I was just, like, hammered, and I was like, fuck, I accidentally hit send, because I was gonna delete it. And then I remember hitting send, and I was like, oh no. And then I was like,
oh, fuck
I
it.
guess this is what the universe wanted me to do. And then I was able to unsend it. And then the next day I texted him, and I was like, just so you know, I went to send her this message, and I was able to delete it, but I think we need to talk. And I found out that day that I sent him a text and was like, we have to talk, like, it was her birthday. It was her fucking birthday. I could have ruined her birthday.
I'm sure she saw it.
Well, because the guy I ran into, that was his friend, was also, there's no way she saw it. It was the middle of the night.
Oh, okay.
She definitely was asleep. It was like 3 a.m.
Oh, okay.
Was definitely asleep, and they were waking up early to go do shit for her birthday. Because, like, him and all of their friends, like, went to, like, the only lake in Las Vegas for her birthday, and the friend I ran into was there. And I was like, I also told your friend. He was like, I could tell he was, like, probably shook, and he was like, yeah, we should talk. And that's when he gave me, like, some more fucking bullshit non-answers of, like, I was like, well, how come you sexualized every conversation? He's like, I just don't know how to handle, like, talking to you. I'm like, this is, like, not my problem. All I want is to be like, where, at that point, all I just wanted was to be like, what happened in your head, in your decision making, that you were like, this is not, I cannot make this work. Like, I cannot move out. I cannot follow through with the promises I made this person. I just want something, like, some self-awareness. I literally just only wanted him to be self-aware and be like, can you just explain your thought process and your decision making to me? So that was super frustrating. And then a few months later, after I had fully removed my feelings from the situation, I was like, you know what? I am done. I have this huge weight on my shoulders of, like, knowing that they're still together and he has not told her the truth. Probably never will. And I no longer want it to be angering me. I don't want any sort of further connection to this person. And I felt really guilty. And I would want to know if I were her.
Yeah.
So that's when I did message her. And this was, like, a few, like, couple months later, maybe a month later, when I was like, I'm done being mad. I just want to be, I want this to no longer take up any more space in my thoughts and my feelings. And I let her know. Like, I was like, here's everything. I can give you proof if you want it. I don't know if that would just hurt more, but, like, I would want to know if I were you. I don't wish ill on either of you. I'm not doing this out of, like, any sort of, like, revenge. I just want to be done.
Yeah.
And then she blocked me.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she just blocked me.
So she definitely saw it.
She fully saw it.
Oh, my God.
Well, because it goes to your message request.
Yeah, right. I didn't realize she blocked you. I thought she just left you unread.
Nope. She blocked me, and I'm assuming he just controlled the narrative and was like,
Absolutely.
she's lying.
She's crazy. She wants to be back with me. Oh, God, the crazy ex-girlfriend.
He would constantly pull the narrative of, like, crazy ex-girlfriend. Constantly.
Tale as old as time.
Mm-hmm.
So fucked.
He told me that about the girl he dated before me and a girl he dated at work. Like, he was like, oh, she's crazy. And now I'm like, is she crazy, or, like, did you make her crazy?
Yep, I think about that all the time.
The shit he stayed in a relationship with his ex because he just has, like, a codependency issue and, like, would not leave, even though he just cheated on her with his coworker. Like, and I knew about that. And then when I reflect on it, I'm like, he told me who he was from the very beginning. And I don't know, like, I'm sure he was just in her ear, like, yeah, my ex is crazy, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, for sure.
Like, she just doesn't want us to be together or whatever fucking reason.
Yeah.
And I think he knew he had a lot of ground to cover. So he, like, 2 weeks later, after I sent her that message, he proposed to her. And then they rushed their marriage. They rushed having a kid. I have no doubt in my mind that it's not going to end well.
No, he's cheating on her right now.
I also just, like, don't have faith that someone who treats women that way is going to be a good dad to a daughter. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know.
God, can you fucking imagine? When he's older and she's grown up and he's feeling so protective of her, there's going to be so much shame that comes along with knowing how he treated women in the past.
I think shame is the only feeling he has. I, like, have done a lot of, like, work in therapy and talked about him so much. And I just think that, like, shame from how he was raised and how his parents treat him and his sibling are so, like, disgusting and toxic and have contributed to making him a terrible person. Like,
this is why therapy is so important, because I feel like a lot of the time when people make decisions like that, it's the result of a lot of past shit, how they were brought up, and it's not always the parents' fault. A lot of the time it is, but sometimes it's like,
well, and his parents have
friends.
fucked up parents.
Yeah, God, it runs deep. It really does.
Mess. And fix
yourself.
I'm, like, not proud of my decision. I know I'm not innocent in that circumstance.
Yeah.
And I tried to handle it the best that I thought I could.
Yeah.
But also, I, like, think that he is a significantly worse person.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
And, like, I remember you asking me how I felt about, like, his wife and, like, him having a kid. And, like, I don't, like, I don't really think about them at all. Like, they're non-factors in this. They didn't do anything.
Yeah.
They're non-factors in this circumstance. They didn't do anything. They don't deserve these circumstances.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I am sad for them. That's not a life I would want for myself. And I also am, like, worried, like, what my karma will be.
I feel like you would have gotten it by now.
Or maybe that was my karma.
It might have been your
something
karma.
Else.
Yeah, you don't know. I think that sometimes things aren't karma and they're lessons.
Yeah.
I think karma comes back as lessons, and you learned a lot from that. And, like, I don't know. I think that it was kind of like a necessary closure in like a weird way. Like how that, I don't think it was, obviously, there's never an excuse.
He gave me no confirmation that he became a better person and then just like tricked someone else into marrying him.
That's my...
That makes me even more mad, honestly. Mm-hmm. If he changed and was a great person, I'd be like, okay, I feel better about this.
Yeah.
But now I just think that he is going to be even shittier to this person.
Yeah.
And he already was.
And now there's a whole child involved. Well, I appreciate you opening up about that because I know how hard it is to talk about. It's really difficult to admit that you've done something of that nature.
Yeah.
But it's a unique point of view. Like, I really wanted to have, like, maybe we'll do this in the future, but like a panel of people that have cheated, because I have a lot of questions. I think your experience with it is unique in that there was no physical component. It was an ex. You were in a relationship that was basically a rebound to like feel something post that ex that you ended up doing that with. So like there are a lot of unique like moments that I think are valuable for people to hear, because really like a lot of the time cheating is the result of like unique circumstances. It's not always just like, oh, I just want to fuck someone else. Like,
no, I wanted so badly to just feel like I had any sort of control and agency in that breakup, because I was absolutely blindsided. Mm-hmm. I like I've said, like I'm so thankful like every day that I am not in that relationship, that I was able to like escape.
Yeah. Same.
I don't know. And maybe deep down he always knew that like what he has now was never going to be me. I was never going to settle. And if I stayed with him, it would have been settling.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I agree.
I would love to hear what he thinks now, but I also like pretty much don't give a shit because he had plenty of opportunities.
Yes.
And I've, like, the times I have talked to my therapist, I'm like, I, like, wonder if he is, like, a better person. Like, if he was the person I, like, was hoping he could be. And then I was like, the answer is no, because if he was, he would have talked to me.
Yeah.
He would have tried to have a conversation with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I have his phone number blocked now, because I was like, you know what? I don't want to hear what he has to say.
And also blocking their number gives you the power back of like, I'm not always going to be wondering if they're going to apologize, because I'm taking it in my own hands. You like don't have a choice.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear what you have to say. I also think him being like, well, I don't want to apologize because I feel like I don't deserve your forgiveness. Like, go below yourself. That he just didn't want to take. Like, he didn't want to take accountability for what he did.
Doesn't want any.
Has nothing to do with.
Has never had any accountability for doing anything wrong.
And when you say I'm sorry, you're admitting to doing something wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what apologizing is, and he wasn't ready to do that.
No.
So
that's my cheating story. I have no doubt in my mind that he probably cheated on me at some point. So I
mean, like, I don't want to say once a cheater, always a cheater, but like when
I always caught him doing suspicious shit.
And when he says you're the only person I haven't cheated on, bull fucking shit. Like,
yeah,
cheetah doesn't change their stripes.
Like, well,
spots. What kind of animal is a cheetah?
Your history here tells me that you're lying.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was hoping we could end with like some sort of fact, maybe.
Ooh, yeah.
So I looked up cheating stats. I did not read them because you showed up right when I was looking them up.
Okay. So we're learning these at the same time.
We could take turns reading these bullet points.
Love it.
So in lieu of a sex fact of the week, we'll have some cheater facts.
Cheating fact of the week. Cheating fact of the week.
Oh yeah.
Nice. I love an ad lib. Okay. Go ahead.
So the first one is it's estimated that 10% of affairs start online.
Wow. That feels low.
It does feel low.
Huh. Well, very interesting.
I wonder if like this is like online, like they're not taking into account dating apps or something.
Probably.
Yeah.
But also like that's like 1 out of 10. You know, some of them like 9 out of 10 could be like at work. Or like at a bar.
Oh.
We're living in a post-COVID world. We're like, where do people meet if not online?
Where do people cheat?
Where do people cheat and meet?
How are people cheating during COVID?
Cheating and meeting.
Cheating and meeting.
All online. Thank you so much. I'm like trying to balance it on 3 fingers. Okay. 40% of online affairs turn into real life affairs. Whoa, that was like a
big jump.
Yeah, 40%. Huh, okay.
Revenge infidelity accounts for 9% of cheating behavior.
Holy cannoli.
So if like someone cheated on you and you want to get back at them by cheating also, that's only 9%. That's pretty low.
That feels so low.
It's very low.
Well, all right. 36% of cheaters have affairs with their coworkers.
That's what you were saying?
Holy shit. Sorry, I'm like really getting Italian with my hands now. Just knocking everything over. That makes a lot of sense. 36 feels like a girthy number. Mm-hmm. I believe it. Okay.
And 22% of men have cheated on their significant other.
What does this say for more items? Is there a woman stat?
See. Oh, and these are from 2018.
We're living in a different world now. Oh, wow. Okay. Yep, there it is. 14% of women have cheated on their significant other. Interesting little jump, men. We have our fucking eye on you.
The last thing I want to ask you is, like, at what point do you consider something cheating?
I was thinking a lot about this. I think that it's definitely different person to person. Mm-hmm. Emotional infidelity, whilst not anything physical, hurts more for me.
Yeah.
Than just having, like, a roll around in the hay.
I think both are equally, like,
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think no matter what, like, I'm thinking about what would hurt me more, and, like, both would hurt me equally.
For a while, I think because when I was going through my most recent cheating experience, the idea of him having feelings for these girls hurt more than the idea of him fucking them. Like, him having sex was, that hurt a lot, but the part that I was really hooked into was, like, I bet that he has, like, a better emotional connection than we have. That was the thing that hurt the most. That killed me. Now I think I can look back and know that in the moment the physical stuff was what I was hooking into, and I was on the phone with my mom crying about it, and I was like only talking about the sex, and it was her that pointed out. She was like, he can do whatever he wants with anyone. The moment that it turns into a big deal is when there's an emotional component, and I hadn't thought about it that way until then, and that was the moment that I really kind of like switched my definition of cheating. But everybody has different definitions of it, and it's interesting to talk to people.
So if you were, like, exclusive with someone and they, like, fucked someone else, would you still consider it cheating?
I would still consider it cheating.
Would it be easy? Would you want to work past that? Or would you be like, I've done this before and I'm done doing this again? I
don't want to ever be with anyone that has any sort of cheating. But say it was my first experience with it, I think if somebody had just fucked someone rather than, like, an affair, like a full-blown, like, kind of double life situation, I think I would have an easier time forgiving them.
Yeah, if it was just a hookup versus, like, a full-on affair.
Yeah. What about you?
I don't even know, man. Like, I think no matter what, it would suck. Like, I get insecure about my partner's past partners, depending on, like, you know, if they have, like, a lot of sexual experience, I'm like, holy fuck, I'm so boring compared to, like, his past experiences. Like, how am I comparing to this? Like, I don't know. That causes some insecurity. So if they hooked up with someone else, I'd be like, okay, that just affirms that I'm, like, not sexually interesting or attractive to you. And I don't know how, like, even if we worked through it, like, I don't know how emotionally I could cope with that.
I wouldn't be able to either.
I would just be like, anytime they tried to make a sexual advance, I would feel terrible about myself. Mm-hmm. And if it was emotional, I think I'd just be all the way out.
Yeah. I will say every single time that every time I had sex with my ex after I found out that he had cheated, I thought about him with other girls every single time. And that's really tough. There's, like, a trauma that comes along with it.
Yeah.
I think also you comparing yourself to, like, past people, there's, like, this is going back to, like, early episode Amelia, there's a biological component of comparing yourself to other people that's so human to do that. Mm-hmm. And so, like,
and it's easy to do that when it's, like, physical only, because I'm thinking emotionally, like, of course other people are going to be attracted to my partner, like, for the same reasons I am.
Yeah.
Not just physical. Like, right. I think they're great, like, Mr. Liz specifically, like, I'm like, yeah, of course people are gonna have a crush on him. He's, like, so cute and funny and smart and good at his job and like well-spoken and like thoughtful, like all of these things that are the reason I love him. Like other people are totally gonna think that's attractive,
and that's kind of a compliment to you.
Yeah. and then I recently asked him, I was like, would you tell me if someone was flirting with you? And he was like yes, but I also like don't think I would like pick up on it. And then he sat there and he's like, the other day when I was in line ordering food, someone told me I had pretty eyes, and I was like, well, you do have pretty eyes. Yeah. I was like, well,
that's a fact.
They weren't wrong, so.
Yeah. I mean,
who is she?
Yeah. Just kidding. Which grocery store was it? Checking out the security footage. Yeah, no, I think there's always going to be a piece that's like, even if you're married to someone for like 50 years, it's like, who's checking on my husband? You know? It's like, but it's also a compliment.
Yeah, of course people are going to like have some sort of attraction to your partner because you did.
And the difference is if they act on it. And that's...
And like what your like agreement between each other is like, hey, if you ever feel like this kind of way, like let's have a plan in place. Like don't let it scare you. Yeah. Or like sway what you do, because of course like other people are going to be attracted to you and you are going to be attracted to other people. Right. But at the end of the day, like we love each other and agreed to this partnership. Yeah. So let's take it from there. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not experienced enough in long-term relationships to...
And even if you were, every relationship is so different.
That's true. That's the cool thing about relationships. You can kind of like make your own rules as you go.
It's the cool thing and the fucked up thing, because it's like sometimes I'm like, can I just have a fucking handbook for this shit?
Yeah, I just want there to be some rules.
Yeah, just put some
rules and regulations.
Of being confused and sad.
I just want someone to tell me what to do because my brain's tired.
Oh god, that's like the adult life tagline. Like, just can somebody make the decisions for me? Yeah, exactly. My brain's tired. Adult.
I feel like this is a good place to end, especially because it's so fucking hot.
I'm so fucking hot. Okay, cool. All right. Thank you for listening. I'm sure we're going to have another conversation about this.
Oh, for sure.
I'm sure
you guys sent us so many interesting messages. Yeah. It would be so fun to just read the things you guys send us. Yeah. Maybe we'll do that in a future episode where it's just reader mail.
Love that. Maybe like the New Testament.
Ooh.
The newest testament. The newer testament. At the Holy Hour on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. hoelyhourpodcast@gmail.com. We're on fucking Patreon now, bitches. Yes. It's on our Linktree.
Subscribe to our Patreon.
Live. We're pointing at the camera right now for all of our Patreon subscribers.
I'm shimmying at the camera.
It could be you. I just flipped the boob out.
You could be seeing my titties.
Did I flip a boob out? I don't know. Subscribe to our Patreon. Maybe you'll see a tit. Maybe
Thanks,
you'll see a tit.
love you.
Okay, all right, we love you. Goodbye. Wow, we hit that fucking note. Yes.